Welcome to the Daily Dish with New York Times bestselling author Leanne Ely. Putting vibrancy back into your everyday life and feeding your heart, mind, body, and soul. Join us every day at 1 p.m. Eastern for Motivational Monday, Tuesday's Tip, Wise Woman's Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, Food Fight Friday, and of course Q&A, where no question is off limits, and Soulful Saturday. Here is your host, Leanne Ely, and the Daily Dish.
You're here. I'm here. Hello. Happy Saturday. You excited about Saturday? We're going to be wrapping up our series on going pro today. Yeah, today. Can you believe that we've already gone through this whole entire week? I'll tell you what, I'm just like, wow, what's happening here? And what's happening here? There's nobody here. This is weird. Okay. All right, just me and Jenny. Are we on, Jenny? Are you sure we're on? I don't know. This has never happened before. Okay. Martha, you just saved me. Gosh, goodness gracious. Here we go. Here they all come. I don't know what happened, but I was going, wow, we're not here. Hi, Martha. Hi, Melissa, Deborah, Jocelyn. I'm so glad you're here. See, this is my little fear factor. My little fear factor is they don't show up. What if nobody comes? What if I'm doing this and nobody comes? So anyway, thanks for being here and helping me dissolve my fear. I appreciate that. Today we are going to be talking about discomfort and how the pros get comfortable with discomfort. Discomfortable? How about that? Is that a good word? I am excited to talk to you about that today. I think it's really going to move the needle. It's going to help you out a lot. Let's see, Melissa, down 2.7 pounds. That's pretty darn good. Deborah, Jocelyn, I'm so glad you're here. Carol and Madeline is here. Julie, you like it? Discomfortable? Should we talk about it? Discomfortable? We're going to get there. Just stay with me because I promise you this is worth listening to because even as I was writing it, I was having some aha moments. So I believe that this is part of the whole equation, if you will. All right? Hang in there with me. Hi, Sharon. Tuesday, after we get through Labor Day, on Tuesday evening, we're going to do our webinar on food addiction. Now, I'm going to tell you what, this is a part of my puzzle, and I'm sharing my journey and what I've learned along the way. You're going to have to anybody is going to have to customize dealing with food addiction. But I'm hoping to help you. I'm hoping to help you if you have this issue, that you'll walk away with some actual doable things, okay? So check it out at savingdata.com/freedom. You can sign up for it. And even if you can't attend on Tuesday night, that's cool. We get it. Life happens, right? We will still send you the replay. And it's worth coming to. I will just say because this was cathartic, even just writing it. So I think it's really going to help you out a lot. There's Elaine and Kathy in the house. Good to see you. Question and answers on Fridays, always. support@savingdinner.com is the email for the question. And in that subject line, question for Leanne on Friday. And there you go. How do you like that? We have our supplement of the week. Y'all, this is the second to the last day. Hi, Marianne and Vanessa. Susan's in the house. Oh, you're welcome, Julie. You're so sweet. This quercetin, man, I love this stuff. I love it. As a matter of fact, I was just reading this blog on really getting your immune system all the way up from a doctor friend of mine, and she was going on and on about the importance of quercetin in your portfolio, shall we say. So let's keep it up, guys. You buy 3, you're going to get 1 for free. This is bioflavonoids that takes vitamin C to that next level. Not only that, but it helps with your metabolic profile, dissolving fatty acids in your body, helps with everything. It helps with all the things. So I love this stuff. I mean, I think it's just absolutely crucial, and I think it's something that you want to get on top of because tomorrow's the last day. Hi, Butterfly. Good to see you. We have a new quote of the week. I love this one. Okay, so you guys know that I'm kind of a Peloton nut, and I do the strength classes, I do the bar classes, I ride sometimes. I'm not as big of a rider as I used to be. There you go. This is from one of them. Nothing gets easier, you get stronger. And I really appreciated this because this, while this is really relative to how it is that you work out, it's true. But you know what else is true? Nothing gets easier when you want to live a vibrant life. You just get stronger and more decided about it. Excuse me. Is that not the truth? Anyway, I want you to put that one on the list. This is a great quote. Thank you, Dennis. Good job, by the way. As a matter, he had a big old man bun and cut it off for children's wigs that are going through chemo. Isn't that cool? Yeah, that's what he did. That was his COVID hair. Hi, Corliss. Good to see you. So we've got, we have a newsletter. Tomorrow you're going to get a newsletter that comes out if you're on our list that's going to have all the show notes on it if you don't want to take notes every time. I'd love you to start getting our newsletter. And usually we only send out one email a day. Next week, you're going to see several more because I want you to come to Full Bloom. Full Bloom is happening 1 week from today. 1 week from today. Do you know how excited I am about this? You should see my desk right now. It is piled high with books. I have all kinds of things with, I've got all kinds of stuff like this, all open, just ready to go. Because we are really going to do this. We're really going to make headway into the land of what it is that we want in our lives. This is important stuff. Check it out. Go read the page, savingdinner.com/bloom. I'm going to tell you this too. You also get a ticket. When you get a ticket to Full Bloom, you get a ticket to go see this. You can see this anytime. You can also mark it and do a timestamp on your notes and say, you know what? I'm going to come back and check this out because this really hit home. This is what I need to see. It is going to be epic. savingdinner.com/bloom. Okay. All I'm asking you to do is go read the page. And if something pops out at you and you just say, ooh, then, you're in the right company. It's going to be really good. And plus we're going to have hot seats. We've got swag bags galore going out the door. I'm telling you, this is not to be missed. It's great. This is how the pros do it, by the way. And I also have a prayer request. Can I ask you for prayers? Can I? Hi, Joanne. This is the deal. My children are about ready to leave Portland. They've gone through 2 trucks. They've had lights going on. They finally went into Pep Boys and said, what's the deal with the trucks? And it's budget, I guess. The guy he said, oh, these guys, they never fix it. It's an oxygen sensor. It's fine. It'll go. So just, he's driving, Sam, her husband, Caroline's husband, is driving the big truck. She's behind them in their little Civic with 3 dogs, y'all. 3 dogs. And they're not small. They're like 3 Lincolns, They're 70-pound dogs in the back. And I just want them to get here all in one piece without being, do you know how it is? My little mama's heart's going pitter-pat, pitter-pat. I just want them home and safe. Hi, Gloria. So I appreciate your prayers for that. Also, really good news. Mark's daughter, Leah, announced their engagement. So we are over the moon excited about that. So we've got a wedding coming up, and I don't know when it is, and we're just delighted, and it's lovely, and keep them in prayer. That's Dana and Leah. And then my son started a business and had some glitches along the way because he broke his arm. He was right behind the 8 ball. I think I kind of told you about all of that. Will you just keep that in prayer too? Just, I just want him to be able to hit his stride. He's such a neat kid. I'll tell you, I'm so proud of him. But the other good thing is he's coming here and we get all of them for Thanksgiving. So let me tell you, my little mama's heart is exploding with excitement for this whole thing. So I'm excited about that part, but I really want, I want everything to go well for them. Anybody ever feel that way about your kids? Pinkies up. Oh my gosh, I love them so much, and I'm so proud of all of them. They've just done such a great job on their lives and how they're moving forward. Caroline and I might be doing a book together too. I'll tell you about that another time. Right now is not the time, but I'll tell you, she had this really great idea, and I was like, You know what? You're smart, kid. You are smart. I know you all are like that with your kids. I mean, don't we love them? I mean, that kind of love. And I was thinking about this as I was writing. I know what. Look at me. I'm starting to get teary about this. So hey, just bear with me. But I was thinking about, as I was writing about, going pro means you get comfortable with the uncomfortable, because I am telling you right now, it is the truth. You do get comfortable with being uncomfortable because you understand what that's really about. It's telling you something, right? And if we think of anything and everything that has ever grown and become something, it always started with a struggle. I'll tell you, anybody who's given birth, you can tell me. I mean, it's not easy. It's not simple. We've seen it with very graphically with chickens. We've seen chickens come out of the thing. When we know too, if we help that chicken will die. We don't want to crack that egg. We want to allow the chick to do the struggle is what brings the air into the lungs. And same with butterflies. We don't help them out of their cocoons. We let them come out of their cocoons. That's what helps them get the strength for their wings so they can fly. And if you think about it, for us as humans, our struggle is really what defines us. And that when we are avoiding struggle, or on one hand, and on the other hand, just making statements like I am on the struggle bus, that means that we're never getting free of that on one hand, and on the other hand, we're avoiding it, because that avoidance is what we oftentimes do, mistakenly thinking that we're unhappy if we're uncomfortable. Is that not a cosmic 2x4? That just like whoop whop right upside your head. It's not true. It's not that, nobody's happy being comfortable, but you are not in a state of unhappiness simply because you're uncomfortable. You're growing is what it is. You are changing. You are becoming. And this is exactly how it is with all of us. The absolute necessity all the way. We've got to have the struggle, because the struggle is what's going to give us wings so we can fly. The struggle is what's going to put breath in our lungs, just like these chicken and butterfly. That's what's going to make it happen for us as well. So when you think about yourself and you're going, oh, so hard, man, I'm just really having a bad time. It's hard. And oh, I feel awful and it feels icky and I don't want to do this. I want you to think about what this is doing for you. What is this state of discomfort? What is it? It is merely a time, a place for you to grow, for you to become. Because we don't go in absolute comfort all the way, do we? Does it work that way? Not for me. Man, I can tell you some stories. Boy, can I tell you some stories. Rug eating repentance type stories. Stories where I just felt like the whole world was craving in on me. But out of that, the Bible tells us that we get beauty out of ashes. Well, we also are like phoenixes rising up from those ashes. If only we continue the journey and don't quit. Is that not the truth? Have you felt that before? Have you lived it? Of course you have. That's why you're here. That's why we're doing all these things together. So we think that, we're unhappy and that we can't get through this. And I want to make a case for you why discomfort is the thing that we need to absolutely 100% embrace. Okay. Are you ready to go with me with that? Think about this way. Think about what it is to have a breakthrough. A breakthrough, the dictionary says, is a sudden, dramatic, or important development or discovery. A breakthrough. Now, a breakthrough is a noun. Breaking through is a verb, but we have to break through to get a breakthrough. So it's that's how you achieve that success. That's how you get there. Think about, what a breakthrough was with, it was a breakthrough album, and it was like Lady Gaga. I remember that. It was like the breakthrough album, blah, blah, blah. And nobody had ever heard of her beforehand. Then all of a sudden it was one hit after the other. Michael Jackson did the same thing. This is the thing that put them on the map and made them the big legends that they were. that's for the best thing I could think of at the time. But, truly, that's what we get. So, but to break through means to force your way through something that's stopping you from moving forward. That's right out of the dictionary. And here's the tough biscuit right here, How many times do we quit when we get to that place? How many times do we say, oh, I can't do it, There's the obstacle. See, that's the reason why I can't do it. And all I'm saying to you is you can go up and over, you can go through it if you want, you can go around it, but it doesn't have to stay in your way unless you've decided to allow it to stay in your way. Sometimes you can just move it and kick it off a cliff. And other times you can't. Other times it's there because it's there to teach you something. That's what an obstacle does. It teaches you something. It shows if it keeps coming up and keeps coming up, it's telling you something. It's telling you maybe you haven't prioritized your time right. Or maybe you need to change up a few things. Or maybe you need to reconsider the day that you're doing this or whatever it is. Be better prepared for next time. Read the instructions better. There's always a way to get past, through, over, under, and even dismiss and push aside an obstacle. Because an obstacle is the excuse that we use to keep us from breaking through and going forward. And pros know this. They know that in order to have a breakthrough, you need to consistently be breaking through. That's how we get it. That's how we get it. It doesn't just suddenly happen overnight. Overnight successes, very rarely do those happen. We call somebody an overnight success when they're not. They've been working their fanny bones off, and it's just suddenly we've noticed them. That's what it is, You know that. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I want you to think about things where things have been chiseled away at. Think about glass ceilings for women getting the vote. How about that? It was only 100 years ago, just a little over 100 years ago. The things that these women went through, suffragettes, they suffered, boy, did they suffer, in order to get women the vote, in order to get to the place where having a conversation in a room full of men and women, that you had equal people, that women weren't owned by their men, which they used to be, Same with minorities. I mean, look what civil rights did. Civil rights declared and made law. What was previous to this was the norm. And look at the suffering that happened on behalf of civil rights. Look at it, You look at all of that. Look at the workplace. They used to make kids work in these sweat factories for 12 hours, 6-year-olds, So to break that ceiling, it took a lot of work. It took people doing things, extraordinary things, in order to say, this isn't right, this has to change. Glass ceilings are broken and broken through by people who persevere with grit to get to the other side because of something that was wrong to begin with, but there was enough people finally standing up for it. Protesters do this all the time. We've seen this. Well, God knows we've seen it on television. They break through and get past the blockades and get into something that they shouldn't get into. We've seen this ourselves when we start to connect the dots and get what it is that's holding us back from the life that we want to live, right? I'm going to share with you a story about this very thing in just a minute. And then we also understand too that pros get it, that if you want to hear a pro, Diana Naya, find a way. Find a way and don't stop. Don't give up. Keep going. If it didn't work out this time, you know what? You're going to try again and maybe it'll work out this next time. That is what pros do, because they don't look at themselves as failures. They look at the situation as it just didn't work this time. Do you see the difference? The difference is the pro doesn't look at themselves and says, oh, I'm a failure. The pro looks at the situation and says, it didn't work this time, it's going to work the next. What do I need to do here? We have the opportunity at any time to sit back and to take a look and to analyze what the heck is going on. If we can do that, then we can fix the stuff that's broken and persevere and go through and really get our breakthrough. We know this. We know this because we've seen it. We've watched it. We've experienced it ourselves when we finally get to that place of breakthrough. So the other thing that I want to mention too, because, as I was thinking about this and everything, when you're in this place of discomfort, sometimes you feel like you're directionless, you're lost, and you're going, I don't even know if I'm doing this right. And it just feels really bizarre, to not feel comfortable, to not feel good in with what you're doing, and to think, I'm just kind of all over the place here. Am I even doing this right? And I want to say this because I think this is really important, because when we're starting to feel directionless and lost, I think what's happening here is we're starting to become present in our lives. Okay? This is a big deal. Bruce Lipton, who wrote The Biology of Belief, says that 95% of the time we're living in our unconscious minds, meaning we're just automatically piloting everything. Relationships, even getting in the car. You know this. You get in the car, you drive somewhere. And have you ever done this? Gotten out of the car and go, wow, weird. I don't even remember driving here, because you were in your unconscious mind. Well, when we do our lives like this with 95% of the time, what are we even experiencing in our lives except autopilot? And that's what Bruce Lipton is saying here, is that when we live like that 95% of the time, we're not really experiencing our lives. And I think that's why maybe we're feeling a little directionless. Maybe we're feeling a little lost, like we haven't found our way, because we're suddenly in our lives, not just piloting it. Does that make sense? So yeah, I just had to share that with you. That to me was like, whoa, it's true though. For me, it has been true. That is exactly what's happened with me. Every time I find myself feeling a little directionless and a little lost, I'm figuring out something's not right here. Something needs a little change. Something needs my attention in my life, But it's cool because at that point, now you're going, okay, I've got a starting place. So that's really awesome. Hi, Sue. Look at Sue's here. I love that. So have you ever also, it is Soulful Saturday, so we can kind of get into the woo-woo zone a little bit. Have you ever just, wondered, like, who am I and what am I doing here? Or, you've seen the funny memes on Facebook, like, I just cleaned up my house and I did all of, I did this and I did that. I called my mother. Who am I? That kind of thing. But I'm talking about a quote that I love, it's from a song, and you've probably heard it before, that I think gives us a whole meaning to who we are. And it's from Casting Crowns, and the lyrics go just a little bit like this. Who am I that the Lord of all the earth would care to know my name? Would care to feel my hurt. And isn't that our God, right? He knows the very hairs on our head, not just how many there are, but when this one falls out, he says, oh, you just lost hair number 7,825. That's how intimately he knows us. Can you embrace that? That kind of intimacy, that out of all these millions and millions of people on this earth, he knows your name, right? And he knows, he feels your hurt. And he cares about every little tiny thing that's in your life. This is God. This is how he rolls, basically. It's his way of being God. So when we get uncomfortable, I think that this is only a part of embracing the good change that you're about to experience. I think that your hands are creating your new change and your new destiny and your new experience. And there's God right there all along in the process. And he's feeling that discomfort, but he's also saying, well done, good and faithful servant, keep going. Because if you're here on purpose and for purpose, to not change and to stay the same really is almost criminal, right? We know about the servant with the talents and the one that buried them in the yard and the others that took them out and multiplied them. We're called to do that, to live on purpose and for purpose. That's a calling, not to say, oh, I'm too fearful. I'm just going to go bury it in the back and just pretend that it wasn't there. We can't do that. We're called to be in discomfort. How's that land? Not fun, right? But I want us to start embracing the discomfort for what it really and truly is, okay? And I know that just sounds like, oh, this is fun. This is a fun show, Leanne. Thanks a lot. No, I know it's kind of gruesome a little bit. But I've got 5 things for you to look at. I think it's 5 things. How many did I write down here? I think I wrote 5. Yep, I wrote 5 things. So let's just go with it, shall we? Can you hang in there with me? Number 1 is, if you want something you've never had, you're going to have to do something you've never done. You've heard that one before? That needs to be your mantra. If I want something I've never had, I'm going to have to do something I've never done. Maybe what you've always done, for example, with a program or trying to do, you always quit. Maybe you've always quit. This time you hang in there. This time you just do it anyway. This time you're saying, I'm uncomfortable. I don't feel like it. I blah, 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 blah. And you do it anyway. How about that? That's uncomfortable, isn't it? But guess what? On the other side of that's the change. On the other side of that is the vibrancy. On the other side of that is somebody that you could be proud of. Number 2, discomfort is what we need, because what we avoid is usually what we need. You hear me? Sometimes the avoidance is we just don't want to have to confront it or that or them or him or her. And I'm going to tell you right now, I suffered on the carousel of crazy for a good 20 years because I didn't want to have to confront food addiction. I didn't. I wanted to just go get another program, go get another thing, sign up for something new, do a different whatever. That's all. My whole thing was, if I could just get this weight off, then everything in my life would be perfect. Everything in my life would all click into place if I could just do this. Without confronting the fact that in secret, I was eating. In secret, I was guzzling down chocolate, to the tune of ridiculous amounts. In secret, I was doing things that I was unwilling to confront, unwilling to look at. All I wanted was a program. And you know what I used to do too? I used to do this. Well, I would need to make everything gone, because then I can start fresh. Don't confront it. Well, you know what? Once that bag of chocolate's gone, then it'll be all gone. So I might as well just take care of it right now. And how many times have I done that? I couldn't even tell you how many times I did that. But this is what the discomfort of addressing my food addiction is what finally got me off of the carousel of crazy. Not without a couple of stumbles and a couple of bumps, but I came to terms with the fact that this is just a problem for me. This is an issue. It's like an alcoholic waking up in, a strange bed with a strange person and a bottle of vodka on the bedside table. And I had a friend who that actually happened to before she finally became sober. That was a rude awakening. Didn't even know what happened that night. Talk about scary. Well, it's scary to confront something that you are really, that fixed things for you, at least for just half a second, or at least just for that minute. And then, the post-mortem is really ugly, of course, because you're looking at it and you're just bloated and feeling terrible and berating yourself, and there's shame involved and nobody knows. It's a deep, dark secret. There's a lot of garbage attached to it. But when you confront it, when you finally go face to face with it, and the discomfort of saying, you know what, I'm a food addict, it just becomes that much easier. And I talked a little bit about food addiction, just a teensy bit about food addiction in Body Clutter. Yeah, I was addicted to chocolate, this, that, and the other. I didn't tell the full story. I didn't. The full story, well, you've gotten it here in bits and drabs. The full story was really ugly. The full story was back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And it took me until finally I confronted it full face and said, enough. Enough. This is not what I want in my life. The discomfort of confronting it was awful. And I kept thinking, what does it say about me? I'm a nutritionist. I'm a food addicted nutritionist who's in recovery. That's who I am. And that's what makes me a whole heck of a lot more empathetic to people who've struggled with this. It also makes me a whole lot more empathetic with people who've been through the dredges and the ditches that I've been through and felt like there's no way to get ahead of the game. I understand what that feels like. I understand it. And it's because of that I can walk alongside of you on your journey, you know? And I'm going to tell you a little, on Monday, you need to be, or Tuesday rather, you need to be there for the addiction webinar and hear all about it. It's at savingdinner.com/restore. And here, or freedom, freedom. It's having freedom from food, having freedom from the things that have held you back, held you hostage. Are you kidding me? It's been the worst. But I wouldn't change it for anything because of what I've learned along the way. It was my discomfort that taught me all about this. It was my discomfort that brought me to my knees. It was my discomfort that made me realize and recognize that this experience was not for naught. It was so that I could help others. It was so I could tell my story. So I could just come right out and say, hey, I've been there. It was to show you, and I've got a graph I think I've shown you, my up and down journey with my weight. It was I couldn't write how to get off the carousel of crazy had I not been on it, you know? And this piece of it, being a food addict, was a great big piece of it. And it was a big chunk of my heart and a big, full of shame and darkness and all the rest of it. But I confronted it and I said, that's enough. And I'm gonna get down into the weeds with it. So that's what happened there. Number 3 is discomfort means your experience might help somebody else down the road. See number 2. See, my experience, I know, is going to help someone else. Maybe it's already helped you. I don't know. But my experience of being there and just opening it up and putting the light on all that darkness and all those secrets and just saying, this is what it was. This is how it felt. This is how shamed I was by that. Over 200-pound nutritionist, you know? The whole thing, it was reeking with hypocrisy. I was just a mess with this whole thing. And yet I knew all the good stuff, you know? I knew all the good stuff. I knew what food you should eat. I knew how healthy it should be. I knew what it was supposed to be about. And yet there I was with my 200-pound butt walking around, you know, not living it, certainly not living it, just preaching about it. And there was just, you know, it just didn't click in. Number 4 is that you're here on purpose and for purpose, and there is going to be doubt. There is going to be struggle. There's going to be refinement along the way. There's going to be uncertainty, and there's going to be a desire to stop. Full stop. You know why? Because it's hard. It doesn't feel good. It's not all the comfy, cozy, easy street stuff. It isn't just like, oh, I was weighed this and then I did this and I just lost all this weight. It's not like those commercials, which are just a big pile of steaming crap. It's hard. There's a struggle involved. There's rebirth happening here. And if anybody is going to go along and say it's not uncomfortable, just so easy, then they've given you some kind of snake oil or something that's probably going to come sneaking up on you. It's gross and gory and stupid, and it's wrong, and it's representative, there you go, is that a word, of what the truth is. And the truth is that if you're here and you want to go there and you're struggling with a food addiction, it's tough. It's hard. It's uncomfortable and it's confrontive and in your face at all times. And you think about it all the time. My whole prefrontal cortex was about the next time I was going to be able to get a fix of chocolate. The next time, what about this? Make it gone. Let's clear the slate. Let's start over. And then I wanted it again. You know, it was no different than a junkie with a needle in his arm. It was that kind of a repetitive thing. And when you keep repeating and repeating and repeating, boy, oh boy, you've got a problem. And if you are not going to confront it, if you are not going to take a look at it, you're going to live in that discomfort for the rest of your life until it makes its mark on your life, until it takes you down with a health issue or some other thing. Sorry, but that's the truth. That's uncomfortable, isn't it? But I'm confronting you and giving you the goods right now because the discomfort of this truth is better than what's down the road. You ready to get rid of it? You ready to get truthful with yourself, with your God? We're called to higher things, and we can't do it if we're stuck on the carousel of crazy with this crap going on. We can't. We're stuck. You know, you can't do it if you're going to go to bed with some stranger and wake up with a bottle of vodka next to the bed. You can't do life in integrity, in a way of integrity. You can't. You miss out because you haven't had the guts to step up to the discomfort and say, there you are, I'm looking you right in the eye, and I'm not going to let you take my life over. Your life is precious. You are known by name by your God. Are you going to just allow it to evaporate because you're stuck on a bag of chocolate? Which discomfort's worse? Avoiding it all or confronting it? Number 5, transformation and leveling up, both exact a cost. How are you going to pay? With avoiding it and pretending it doesn't exist? Or are you going to confront it and then get through the struggle and all the garbage that comes with it? Right? That's what it is. We have to be at peace with that kind of transformational discomfort. Otherwise, we live a lie in the pretend zone. Like everything's great until I need to go get the chocolate again. Everything's great. My life is fabulous until I'm hiding in the car eating the chocolate again. This is what I'm talking about with food addiction. It takes over your life. It takes over all your good intentions and it derails you every single time. And I'm not kidding. Lucy said she paid with diabetes. You're not the only one, Lucy. You're not the only one. And you know what? But look what you're doing. You've confronted it and you're moving it back and you're changing things up. Elaine says, avoiding it is worse because it stays with you. That's right. And Sharon, you're absolutely right. She said she read last night, food addiction activates the opioid system in the brain, so it literally mimics drug addiction. It does. Absolutely does. And that's why I'm such a fan of L-glutamine, because it cuts off the pleasure center to the brain as you're going through the craving. Because let's face it, if you break a food addiction, you're going to Jones. You know, you're jonesing for your chocolate fix or whatever your food is, whatever your drug of choice is. But I'm going to tell you right now, the thing that we need to do is we need to get to the place of being at peace with discomfort and making a choice about the discomfort that we choose to lean into. Because there's no such thing as being able to do anything in our lives without discomfort. It's not a cakewalk. It's not a stroll through the daisies. It's not just life's a big bowl of cherries. It's not. We have to get comfortable with the discomfort. Do you want to lose your life so that you can find it again? Do you want to lose this old addicted life and find a life free from all of that addiction? Well, you know what to do. It's time to step up into that place of understanding that there is discomfort in this world. There's discomfort in this life. And if we're going to avoid the confrontation that needs to happen with the food addiction that's possibly there for you, if not, then good for you if you're already past that. I'm not just talking about food addiction, but whatever it is, if we are in the place where we need to confront something difficult, we confront it, we can get then to the next step. That's how it works. So I want you to stop stopping. Can I get you to agree with that? Stop stopping. Stop quitting on yourself. And start, for heaven's sakes, to have a little bit more grit in your life. You've got it. It's there. It is your God-given DNA that you can have that kind of grit to get through it. Just let the lights turn on. Let the lights turn on and let that light shine brighter than the darkness of hiding and pretending. Discomfort's part of the whole thing. It's how it is to be alive in this world. And we just need to be aware of it and let it show us what it needs to show us so then we can learn and grow and become. That's what the pros do. I hope that was helpful. I didn't mean to preach so much. Didn't know that was coming, but there it was. Anyway, love you all, and I want you to have an amazing Sunday. We will be dark here, but don't forget that our quercetin will be going away on Monday. So today is the day to get it. Buy 3, get 1 free. Take advantage of these sales because we do it every single week. We have a lot of people who depend on them. You should be too. You should be getting our newsletter. If you go to savingdinner.com, it's right there. You should get signed up for Full Bloom, for heaven's sake, savingdinner.com/bloom. I won't be on here at all next Saturday. So if you want to hang out with me on Saturday, come to Full Bloom. It's that easy. Peace be with you. I appreciate you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. You can find us on YouTube on the Saving Dinner channel or on the Saving Dinner Facebook page. Check back daily for new episodes, Monday to Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. If you missed the live show, you can watch the replay. Until next time, pinkies up.